Okay, so public service announcement. Look, if your face by the time the end credits of this movie roll, if your face does not reflect any of the 3 Cillian Murphy reactions here as Oppenheimer, then did you truly experience what Christopher Nolan wanted you to? I mean, let's be honest here. If your face is not in complete shock and awe by the time this thing is over, you completely missed it, and I need you to go buy your ticket again and watch this thing for another 3 hours because you need to know what Christopher Nolan was trying to show you. Because this thing is ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Oppenheimer. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Casey Affleck, Rami Malek, Josh Peck, Jack Quaid, Josh Hartnett, Benny Safdie. Look, literally anyone who's everyone is in it, or literally everyone who's anyone, however that fucking saying goes. Literally everybody in Hollywood is damn near in this movie, and it was directed by none other than Christopher Nolan himself. And our story follows the legendary Robert Oppenheimer, who was recruited by the army to essentially build an atomic bomb, or he goes under this secret project by the name of Project Manhattan, or the Manhattan Project, one or the other, and essentially just ends up building the atomic bomb, which of course you all know is one of the most dangerous weapons, or damn near the most dangerous weapon in the entire world itself, where just by the push of a button we can all be blown to complete smithereens. And this is a look inside the mind of the man who made that. So of course you know we are in for a ride, especially if Christopher Nolan is directing this thing. So guys, you already know Christopher Nolan is known for making absolutely magnificent, mind-bending movies, and of course Oppenheimer here has been the most anticipated film for a lot of moviegoers, me included. And of course, I mean, it's not, you think I'm going to sit here and tell you I had a bad time in that theater? You're going to think I come out and say, yeah, I didn't enjoy that, I don't think it was a good movie? No, that was the experience of maybe a lifetime, except for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But no, Christopher Nolan delivered yet again, and by all means, guys, I'm just going to get into what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. Or maybe I should get into what I didn't like first, because honestly, then everything else would just be me praising the rest of this movie because it's absolutely phenomenal. So let's get into it. Alright, so starting with what I didn't like, because like I said, I'm just going to praise the rest of this movie after this point. Surprisingly, it's not the runtime. I actually think that the runtime was very justified, but the only thing I did not like about this movie is the use of Florence Pugh. And I think personally, like, she didn't do a bad job in the movie at all. Like, Florence Pugh is an immaculate actress. It's just, she could have been used for more than what she was used for. She really isn't given much to do but play a role as, I don't know if it's obvious who she is in the film, so I'm not really going to, or by the trailer standpoint, so I'm not going to spoil who she is in the movie. It's not really that much importance, like, truly, as to what else is going on in the movie. Trust me, she's not really that important. But Florence Pugh honestly could have been played by anybody else. I think just the fact that this was a star-studded cast just meant that, you know, Christopher Nolan wanted to put a big name in the movie just because he had a bunch of big names around the rest of it. But personally, anybody could have played who Florence Pugh played. She really didn't need to be in this movie, but it is what it is. Other than that, guys, look, let's get into what I loved about the movie, because I promise you it's a long list, so let's get into it. Okay, so starting with the reason why most people are in the theater in the first place, Christopher Nolan. He pulled off an absolute spectacle as a director. I mean, when I say this dude is absolutely pulling out the stakes, he's absolutely doing everything he can to make this very, it's not a simple premise. Well, I mean, it really is. You're just watching scientists do science things and really just build a very big bomb. But he's making something that seems so simple, just like as a conversation, for example. Something as simple as a conversation be, for whatever reason, the most entertaining or the most tension-filled thing you've ever witnessed in your life. It's like you're literally on the edge of your seat just trying to figure out if this thing can even be done. Of course, you know that's what the build up towards is. Like, you know, at some point they're going to be able to build this thing, and, you know, they're going to test it out. But there are moments throughout the film where you are a part of the process. Christopher Nolan makes us all feel like scientists, even if you really don't understand science terms and really what they're putting together. He tries to make it as simple as possible for the audience, and really he's taking these simple things and turning them to absolutely extraordinary adventures, because your mind is literally just blown away from everything that's going on. And when I say everything, I mean beyond just the fantastic performances themselves. The score of this thing, the cinematography, the visual graphics themselves. When you are looking into the mind of Oppenheimer himself, you have to understand that we are looking at the world from the point of view of a man who literally gave us the power to blow ourselves away to smithereens. The world from a man like that perspective is not going to be very pleasant, to say the least. I mean, it's going to be very destructive and very just chaotic and all over the place. And just to be able to, you know, put together something like that, it should be, you're a madman to many. You're like, it's said many times throughout the film, you do not see the world as many of us do. Many people tell Oppenheimer that you do not see the world as many of us do, and Christopher Nolan puts that on full display, breaking down this guy's mind and watching it on screen, watching how he sees flames. There are certain scenes where he will literally see like the lights get brighter, and there's this scene in a school where he's giving a school speech, and there's literally, it's like a bright white light as if something is about to go off, and you can literally see people's skin peeling, and it's ridiculous. Christopher Nolan absolutely destroyed this film in a great way, and it like absolutely blew me away. Like I said in my intro, if your face is not resembling one of the Cillian Murphy faces, the freeze frame where he's just in shock and awe, just in complete just shock and embarrassment. I can't think of another word for shock right now, and I don't think embarrassed was a good word. But if basically, if you're not making that face, you truly did not understand what Christopher Nolan was doing here. I need you to go see it again, because everyone that experiences this is experiencing something that is once in a lifetime and has to be experienced in IMAX. Like I said, the sound mixing in this movie is ridiculous. I mean, it's like Christopher Nolan made sure he found even if it was the tiniest bit of a mistake, the tiniest bit of something being off, he made sure he fixed it, because it's like minor details in this movie will blow you away. And I'm not even talking about the performances yet. I'm talking about strictly what this man did in his directorial seat. In his director's seat. I keep saying directorial. In his director's chair. What this man pulled off from that chair, not many can say they've done. Not a lot of people can say they've done. Honestly, James Cameron is probably the only one, and even Christopher Nolan outdid him in some things in this film. I mean, my goodness. I never thought I never thought I'd be blown away from a Christopher Nolan film like this. And it's crazy because I'm a big John Campea fan. Shout out to him. He even said in his out of theater reaction, this might have been the best Nolan film. And I'm not mad at that, because the more I think about this movie, it's having an Interstellar effect on me. Interstellar effect meaning when Interstellar first came out, people were kind of judging that movie as if it was a lot to take in and they weren't necessarily sure how to feel about it. But once you really settle in and sit down with it for a while, oh, that movie is going to absolutely tear you apart, because it's fantastic. This movie has the same fucking effect on me. This movie is fan-fucking-tastic. I mean, my goodness, Christopher Nolan did something that I truly didn't think he'd be able to do. I didn't think Christopher Nolan would be able to perfect his art form like this. Like, Christopher Nolan truly came out. He did what the creators of Into the Spider-Verse did with Across the Spider-Verse. He truly took the Nolan effect in his previous films, and he took it with this movie and ran with it, and he made sure that whatever mistakes he made in previous films, they're not showing here. Like, this dude completely is going to blow your mind. Like, this movie has to be seen in IMAX. I can't imagine you seeing it on a standard screen. That's not going to be good. Don't see it on a standard screen. Please see this movie on the biggest screen. It's worth it. Seeing this film in IMAX is completely worth it, because you are just going to be absolutely mind boggled. You're going to be, your mind is definitely going to be in a crinkle at the, like it's going to be crinkled up at some point, because you're just taking in so much. And on top of that, he makes you feel the pressure of getting this thing done, how we could lose the war, how we could be blown away. He gives you, like, you're literally feeling like you're one of the scientists in this thing. And I haven't even gotten to the fantastic performances. I haven't even gotten to this man's performance, but for one, I understand a lot of people are here for, Christopher Nolan, but let's be honest here. This man has not only been acting in Nolan films for a long time, and he was in 28 Days Later, not weeks later, 28 Days Later, which is a fantastic film. Cillian Murphy's been killing it for a very long time. This Peaky Blinders is also one of the best shows on Netflix, on streaming, period. Peaky Blinders is one of the best shows out, period. Y'all need to make sure y'all give this man the respect he deserves. But this man here absolutely killed it. But before I get to that, I just want to talk about one more thing that Christopher Nolan did. When the bomb itself went off, when we finally did the testing, I cannot believe how he got me. It was silent for so long. I literally said to myself, I guess it's really not going to make up. And the bomb literally blew me up. Like, oh my, like I'm telling y'all, Christopher Nolan delivered in this movie. What, like, literally, he literally is going to blow past your expectations. Like, I'm so, as you can see, just baffled. I am so speechless about what Christopher Nolan pulled off. But without further ado, let's get into the performances in this movie, because there are a lot of them. And everybody tried to outdo each other. Everyone tried to outact each other, although Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. and Matt Damon could not be topped. Everyone, for some reason, tried. And honestly, if you ask, depending on who you ask, some people will say some of them succeeded. Not necessarily outdoing Robert Downey Jr., but maybe some outdid Cillian Murphy. I don't know. But no, it depends on who you ask, like I said. But look, starting with Cillian Murphy himself, him portraying Oppenheimer was honestly the perfect casting choice. I can't see anyone else making the facial expressions, building the tension. I can't imagine anyone else portraying this character, because Cillian Murphy truly has captured every essence of a man who can see the world burning before his eyes. I mean, this dude truly put on an Oscar-worthy performance. He deserves to be nominated. He should be nominated. I'm going to talk about another guy that damn sure better be nominated. But Cillian Murphy, as far as I'm concerned, he came, he saw, he conquered the world as he was supposed to. Christopher Nolan knew exactly what he was doing by giving this man the lead in this film. It's been long overdue that this man lead a film, especially a Christopher Nolan one, as long as they've worked together, and he's absolutely just destroyed it. He completely killed it. Cillian Murphy deserves to be nominated. Another man who deserves to be nominated, Robert Downey Jr. And it's honestly, he doesn't deserve it. He's demanding you nominate him. From the moment that he pops up on screen, from the very beginning of this film, Robert Downey Jr. is demanding an Oscar, at least a nomination. I mean, if he doesn't win, look, there are definitely going to be some contenders this year, but this man deserves to at least be in the top 3 of votes, maybe top 2, maybe top 1. I don't know, but this dude absolutely killed his performance. Robert Downey Jr. was a menace in the film, and honestly, literally and figuratively. I mean, this dude, like, the last hour of this film takes a complete little turn. And like I said, there's so much going on here. Like, this movie is a lot to take in. Like truly, by the end of this movie, you're literally just going to have to sit down for a second and really, really let everything sink in. Because truly, if you just walk out and you try to just, go about your day and you're not really letting the film sit with you for a second, I don't think you're really going to appreciate it for a second. When you get the time. Like, even if it's not, because some people like to get up immediately after the credits rolled. I don't even know how they did that. I don't know how anybody got up immediately out of their seats after this thing was over. I sat through the entirety of the credits, and I sat there a little bit afterwards. I'm not going to lie to you, because this thing had me stuck. It was also midnight. I was truly very tired, but I stayed up through the entire thing because I couldn't fall asleep. And it's crazy because there's no action going on whatsoever. There's action in the sense of people are being intense and the way, conversations are being had. This is very serious stuff going on here, but there's no fighting, there's no action, there's no combat. It's literally just conversation and building and being scientists the whole time going on. But back to Robert Downey Jr.'s performance. Look, he deserves an Oscar. He's definitely going to get nominated. Best Supporting for sure. Like I said, the last hour of this film. Even before that, this thing is 3 hours. In the first 2 hours, Robert Downey Jr. was doing great, and then for some reason he decides to take whatever you saw in the first 2 hours, push that to the side, and turn it up 17 notches and go even harder in the last hour. I'm truly baffled by what everyone did in this film, and like I said, every single side character in this movie is trying to be as impactful on the audience as possible. Like I said, depending on who you ask, you can ask certain audience members who their favorite side character was, who their favorite supporting actor was. Everybody will probably have a different answer. Mine, hands down, was Rami Malek. Matt Damon, for whatever, I'm going to talk about Rami Malek in a second, but I did skip over Matt Damon. Matt Damon is hands down a top 5 actor of all time. Like, I'm not sugarcoating that. I literally just saw Good Will Hunting for the first time in my life last week. I'm not sugarcoating that. Matt Damon has truly been putting on breathtaking after breathtaking after breathtaking performances in front of us, and I feel like none of us have appreciated it. And this movie here puts that on display. Matt Damon is truly one of the best actors working in Hollywood of all time. Like, this dude is an absolute beast. And he demands your attention every time he's on screen. Matt Damon kills it. I wouldn't be surprised if he got nominated too. But as far as the rest of this cast, look, my favorite supporting actor was Rami Malek. He doesn't even do much he doesn't have much to do in the film itself, but he has one monologue that I think he absolutely owned, and I loved it. And there are so many other supporting characters. My second favorite, honestly kind of tied with Rami Malek, is Benny Safdie. Benny Safdie was a monster. Benny Safdie was an absolute beast in the movie. I loved seeing Dane DeHaan back on screen. He commanded look, Dane DeHaan got a lot of, I can't say it was unwanted hate from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because, I mean, he didn't want the hate, but it's not like he could have, hid from it, because that was bad. But it wasn't really his fault. Dane DeHaan is a great actor nonetheless. He did Chronicle. He did A Cure for Wellness, which I think is a very underrated movie. But it was great seeing Dane DeHaan back on screen here. Look, like I said, you got Josh Peck. Look, who would have thought? Who would have thought Josh Nichols would be on in a Christopher Nolan film, like pushing the button? I would have never guessed that myself. You got Jack Quaid in the movie. Emily Blunt, she did a phenomenal job. I will say, I thought that she was getting the Florence Pugh treatment in the beginning, but thankfully towards the end they gave her the screen time and the dialogue that she deserved in order to, make an impact on the film as well. She did a great job. I mean, there's just so many names here. Let me go through them because, it's just too many to count. Casey Affleck, he killed it. Who else? Jason Clarke, big standout. Dylan Arnold. David, I always mess his name up. David Dasmalchian, he was in The Suicide Squad. Kenneth Branagh, killed it. Alden Ehrenreich, my Han Solo. Well, he's not. Well, the young Han Solo, I should say. But Alden Ehrenreich killed it. Look, him and Dane DeHaan, I'm so happy they are in this movie because now they're going to get the respect they deserve and hopefully get more roles again, because for whatever reason people hated on Solo. I thought Solo was very entertaining. It's a really good Star Wars adventure movie, but for whatever reason other people didn't think so. It's not my problem. But look, regardless, everyone in this movie, Michael Angario's in this movie? I didn't even notice that. Wow, that's crazy. There's so many people in this movie. But look, regardless, if you give me a name, I can tell you why they were amazing. Like Christopher Nolan truly not only made use of his cameras and visual effects and all those. He not only made use of this entire talented cast, this immensely talented cast, he made use of that 3-hour runtime. When I tell you that 3-hour runtime is completely and 100% justified, yeah, it is. 100%. Like there's no part of this movie, and that's very rare. It's very rare to do that, for me at least. Well, no, it should be rare to do that, period, to hold anyone's attention for 3 hours. This movie, for me, held my entire attention all 3 hours. I did not feel like there was anything in the movie where I should specifically take it out. But with all that being said, guys, look, Oppenheimer is an absolute masterpiece. We have gotten 2 of those this year. 2 complete and utter masterpieces. Oppenheimer and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I absolutely adored. Well, actually, yeah, I'll say Oppenheimer and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are the 2 truly cinematic masterpieces that we've gotten this year. I do believe one more is on the way in Dune Part 2, but Denis Villeneuve will speak for himself, I'm sure. But look, Christopher Nolan absolutely delivered in every sort of Christopher Nolan way. I'm absolutely speechless, baffled, although I probably talked for like 25 plus minutes in this review. I am just absolutely astounded by what this man pulled off in this thing. Everybody needs to go see this as far as I'm concerned. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Oppenheimer a 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, so Oppenheimer, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Look, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more, guys. Look, I really do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, and I really do appreciate it. This is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.